The new record, this is the first one you put out in a little while under the War on Drugs. Is that right?
Yeah, full length. Yeah, besides the EP,
Right.
which was last year. Yeah, but yeah, it's been a couple of years.
So besides that, I mean, besides the EP and everything, and actually including the EP too, but with the EP in mind, it's one of the very first times you've written solo. I mean, were the old records written solo? I know,
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they definitely were. They were collaborative as much as, they were collaborative with people as much as the new one was,
Right.
I mean, usually like the bare bones of the songs or the demoing or like a lot of the weird sounds are all me, and then like, invite your friends over to play on it, and they usually come up with something that's like pretty irreplaceable in a way, On the first one, some of Kurt's guitar stuff, and then on this one, Robbie Camp with some pretty awesome little keyboard lines, and so yeah, definitely like the bare bones stuff, and the lyrics are all me, and then usually it's like what people add to it, usually taken to another kind of direction at times.
And you've had, I mean, I hate to call it a revolving door. I don't know the reasons why. You've had several band members throughout the years in all of this too. Mm-hmm. Have you found that really has changed the style of writing as you collaborate with new people each time?
I think not so much the style of writing. I think definitely the approach to as you kind of go. Sometimes the band was, or we had once had two drummers, then we had one drummer, three guitars. I think you go through those moments where you kind of see like the potential of also, like when there was less people in the band, when we were a three-piece and I was just doing mostly guitar and keyboards, I became a much better guitar player because of it, But in terms of the writing style, it never really affected too much the writing. And, people from the old days also still sometimes come in and play on stuff.
Yeah.
But the new bands, the band that toured for the first time, the four-piece, when we played with Destroyer a couple months ago, that'll be the same bands, for Slave Ambient in the future. It'll be exciting to kind of like maybe next time around go into a studio with an actual band that had been playing together a lot, Because I think it's the first time in a long time that the band kind of gives the songs a similar kind of feel that's on record. We're not really, just plays as like a unit really well, and we just kind of pay attention to like the songs doing. So, yeah, it's good.
So it's worth asking, are you a difficult bandmate, or do you just prefer playing with different people?
I think I'm definitely not a difficult bandmate. I like playing with the same people.
Right.
I think it just took, whenever somebody would not be in the band anymore, that was obviously always their decision,
Mm-hmm.
Or like it was their decision to not really pour too heavily. I'm definitely one though to like, maybe not look back in a way, like if someone's kind of like, if you kind of move on and you kind of find new ground, or you kind of like find out this new thing. It's not like they're not welcome back in, but I tend to just kind of stay with what is working at the time,
And in those days and months and even years to a point when you had off, you weren't really complacent. I mean, you were doing other things, right?
Oh yeah, I was recording a lot, and I was traveling with the Drugs and with the Violators.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, definitely between bands and recording. I mean, I've been super busy for 3 years,
right.
Which is, it's been great.
So now that Slave Ambient is coming out, do you intend for Drugs to be your focus? I mean, is this what you'd like to get settled into?
Yeah. I mean, it always is my focus in terms of like, I also wanted to be able to tour on a record, not so much tour aimlessly over a couple of years, And it took a while to definitely wrap my head around finishing the record and making it what I wanted it to be from the start. But yeah, it's definitely my main focus right now. And now that it's out, or that it's coming out, like definitely like tour as much as we can and get, the last tour we did in the spring and like took the band to kind of another level to which it really hadn't been at before. So
right.
Exciting. Start it now and then see the next 3 months and then kind of where we'll be then, and maybe a bunch of new songs, or like where we'll take the Slave Ambient songs. Right now we're in a position where we're just trying to we played a lot of them on the Destroyer tour, so we're not trying to learn a record, But right now we're just trying to get back in the feel of them, and then I'm sure a couple shows in they'll start taking on their own full little beast live. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
The War on Drugs has always had, no matter what review it seems that a person can read about you, there's always that word that creeps in, which I find really interesting, which is you have an Americana tag.
Yeah.
That people likened you to. Now, in traditional Americana, your sounds, while they hearken to that, is very, very different, almost to the point where it seems like you are creating a new, even subgenre for a subgenre.
Yeah, I would definitely have never have used the word Americana for the music,
Uh-huh.
I think people use that in response to maybe like a pretty classic style of songwriting, you know?
Right.
Kind of strummers versus maybe some choruses here and there. But I think it's also like that world of like enjoying writing songs and giving the songs like a certain mood. And also then the experimental side of it where like some songs are written guy and a guitar and some are written like for months by just like coming up with samples, you know, or, you know, it's all the samples are all my own stuff and kind of starting with like a tone or like a percussive sort of, you know, electronic beat or something. Yeah, and then kind of combining those two worlds at the end of like maybe a standard, typical kind of song in a way, surrounded by all sorts of different kinds of approaches, whether it's like guitar-based or synthesizer-based or whatever.
Right.
A lot of them are also usually started in some way with a guitar, you know.
Which is a great way to start a song.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
And you seem to have, I don't know if road imagery or road scenery is the right term, but there is a bit of narrative that kind of follows your song that seems like, and even to reinvoke the word again, maybe that's also where Americana seeps in there too. Does that play a big part when you're writing?
Yeah, I think. Well, definitely over the last couple of years too, traveling so much and not really. I mean, even though I have a home in Philly, maybe I think not being there that much has a lot to do with it. And also, I think the way that I tend to approach lyrics fairly spontaneously, you know, both like multiple versions, but always trying to kind of come up with something off the top of my head. I guess in a way that's something that I kind of naturally go towards, you know? Maybe always kind of looking inward at this kind of nomadic, maybe, search for something, you know?
Yeah.
But I also think maybe the record itself is kind of, a lot of it has to do, I think, with the process of trying to finish the record, you know, or finish something that's like, you know, wrap your head around something close to you, so.
Do you enjoy the nomadic lifestyle? I know some folks can deal with it.
Yeah,
and
at
some
times,
folks
yeah,
just
it's
deal
been
with
like
it.
pretty nonstop for a while, but it's nice knowing that there's a place to come home to, for sure.
How often do you get there?
Well,
these days?
I actually was on tour with Kurt for the last 3.5 weeks, and I flew back yesterday to Philly, and I was there for last night, and then we came up to New York today. So, and then I'll be home for about a week, 10 days, and then we go on the road again. Yeah, home for about 10 days.
It's a way to live, isn't it?
Yeah, it's intense. I'm living out of my little travel bag.
Right.
But it's good.
Well,
You know,
Slave Ambient is it sounded great. It really, really is. And
thanks.
you know, hopefully this is the big step for you guys because it sounds like there's a lot of excitement out there about it.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Like, you know, finishing it was one thing, and then like having people hear it's another thing. So, yeah, I'm excited for whatever happens.
All right, man. Well, thanks so much for taking the time today.
Yeah,
I really do appreciate
it.
Of course. And maybe we'll see you around at some point.
Yeah, I'd love to come down there and play. So,
All
we'll
right.
get there soon.
Take care.
Cool. Thanks, bud.